This is the video of my philosophy of education, and the reason why I'm here at Sacred Heart School is because this is where I worked last year as a kindergarten aide teacher, and where I will be working this year, but now in my own classroom as a 5th grade teacher. So I thought the best place to show you about the different philosophies I have in education and how I have applied them is in my classroom. So I want to invite you in just to show you around my classroom. Some of my core values and beliefs of education are founded, as I mentioned earlier, within my classroom. But the first stop we're doing is here in the religion corner. And as I said before, I'm working in a Catholic school. So there is a sense of the philosophy of idealism here because of the spirituality that we have and of inviting the students to think a lot about the big picture, the big ideas, and the ultimate truths within everyone's lives. So some of the core values can actually be found in the border of this bulletin board, which is responsibility, fairness, caring, respect, citizenship is here, and the last one up here is trustworthiness. And within these core values, some of the special beliefs I have are also stated in the mission of the school. So the mission of the school here states that the educational environment should be permeated by Christ's love, concerned about the development of the whole child, and devoted to Catholic teachings and ideals. Part of the role and context of a student learner within my philosophy is for the students to help out in the classroom. So here I have our class helpers, and they would be helping from a variety of things, from helping with the doors, the calendar, supplies, chairs, messenger, papers, and emergency backpack. Something else is to help the students participate. At the beginning of the school year, I'm not filling out our class rules. This is something we're going to do together, and that way it'll help them come up with the rules and therefore be more motivated to follow them. And that way it's not something that I'm just imposing on them. This is my social studies corner here in the classroom, and here is where you can see the philosophy of progressivism very clearly. Especially taking into account John Dewey, who is one of the founders and actually can be called the father of progressivism in education. And the reason why I see some of his ideas or what he stated of education in this social studies corner is because of the different activities I have here. One is all the visuals that are in the classroom, but most of all is the hands-on. John Dewey was one of America's most influential philosophers and educators, and he coined the phrases learning by doing, the activity method, problem solving, and children's interests and needs. So the phrase of learning by doing is one that can be seen here. So what students, after working on their social studies workbook or on a reading that we would be doing all together, as soon as they're done, they would be invited to come here, the first one's done, and start working on this ongoing project about the Native Americans, which is the first unit we'll see. So if you look over here, this is the poster of the Native Americans, and it's tribes by region. And this divides all of the United States by regions, and then it talks about the different tribes that lived in each region. So what the students will need to do is do a replica of this, of the different tools, transportation, clothing, art and artifacts of it. So they would be doing it here on this table using these different materials, from toothpicks, clean pipers, clay, that they have here, feathers, tissue paper, and the replica will go this way of the poster that they're doing. Another philosophy that's integrated into my philosophy of education is the philosophy of perennialism. And the reason for this is because the ultimate goal of it is to provide a classical education so students know lessons from the past. So as I mentioned to you from the religion corner, we're seeing some of those lessons from the past. Here you can see the Bible, which are obviously lessons written over 2,000 years ago when Christ was here, and then the Ten Commandments, which goes further back from Moses. But how is that going to be translated into here is, for example, with the Our Father. I'm going to be teaching the Our Father to the students through in Latin. So each day we're going to go over it and do it as a prayer. And when we're done and they know it by heart, they'll be tested on it. And then following that, we'll have the Hail Mary. So perennialism is espousing the notion that some ideas have lasted over centuries and are as relevant today as when they were first conceived. So, for example, the Latin, many people would think, well, we don't say the Latin Mass anymore. But a lot of words today in the English language and Spanish, which the kids also take here, are rooted in the Latin. So this would be a way of helping them even with their vocabulary. The discipline procedures that I'm going to have in the classroom are called, the negatives, you could say, are called infractions. So this is, for example, for religion. Well, I'm going to teach grade 4 religion as well. But for religion homework infractions, when they have not turned in a religion homework, this gets sent home. And it's signed by the teacher and signed by the parent. When students have accumulated 3 infractions, they have a detention of 15 minutes. Same thing applies for, this is just religion for 4th grade, but for 5th graders, they also have their homework infractions. This form is sent home, teacher signs it, parents sign it. For them, since it's all of their homework, when they have 4 infractions, it's a detention, but their detention is 30 minutes long. And as well as homework infractions, there are behavior infractions. And the same thing applies. Only in behavior, their overall conduct behavior is lowered as well after their 30-minute detention, after having 4 infractions of behavior. Regarding assessments, this is what we're following. So spelling, they have a test every Thursday. Social studies, it depends on the unit and when we're done for it. Same thing applies with religion. Vocabulary, the unit is due on Friday, but their test will be on Monday. So this is one of the tricky ones because we need to assure that they study during the weekend. Handwriting, it's due Friday, there's no assessment for that. We have a poem every month, and that's due at the end of the month. Sometimes it'll be assessed orally, other times it will be written. Book reports are also due once a month. The literary genre changes every month, and as well as the project. So it could be a book report simply writing it up, or a hands-on project, or any other creative thing for them. And science, as well as when the unit is over, that's when they're assessed. In the classroom, we also have 4 Mac computers, 2 on this side and 2 back there. And we have used them mainly for students to access the internet for any resources that they might need. As well, we have the smart board, which growing up in a Catholic school, I actually went to school here, and now being able to work in a school, has awakened in me the personal desire to transmit to the students a lot of the core values that I received here and that really have been everlasting and will be everlasting throughout humanity. So this here is a project that we'll be doing throughout the first month of September. So it's called the Road to Holiness, and the students start here. It'll be by teams, and they will have these different little footprints, teams of 3 per little foot. So in order to advance from one step to the next, it'll be per day, but in order to advance, they need to fulfill the 4 different tasks. So the first one here is citizenship. So for citizenship, students need to take care of the school. For responsibility, they need to turn in all their homework. For respect, they need to be attentive during all classes, which brings also behavior and not talking. Caring is to do an act of charity for a friend or family member. This will also provide an opportunity for students to teamwork, because if one student did not turn in all homework, the team cannot move on. All 3 of the team members need to fulfill all 4 every day for them to move on. So one of the philosophers from perennialism is Hutchins. And in the University of Utopia, he wrote, "The object of the educational system, taken as a whole, is not to produce hands for industry or to teach the young how to make a living. It's to produce responsible citizens." And this is one of my goals as a teacher here in 5th grade this year.